looking at Friday today, and this has been a shortened trading week because the beginning of the week was Labor Day on Monday, and so I've actually only traded 3 days this week. This will be the third, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're looking at the longer term chart down here, and we can see that we took that nosedive, it leveled off, it dipped down a little bit yesterday, and we're trying to figure out what the next move is. The big green candle that has just formed in the pre-morning hours or the pre-trading hours this morning has been very influential in my thinking. It definitely went up, and it is kind of at a resistance level right through here. You can see it's not quite to a resistance level on the 4-hour chart, so we still have some room to move here. And there's a lot of upward momentum. And you can look on the short-term chart and see the rejection wicks both going up and down. There is a lot of excitement right now, a lot of trading going on right through here. And that happened at about 7:30. So it's kind of early this morning. Usually you see movements like that, closer to 8:30 or so because some big piece of news has come out. So that's interesting that it was a little bit earlier this morning. So anyway, I'm kind of inclined to think that because of the excitement that I see building here, it may be going up, but it has to break through this resistance level first. And we're waiting then for a good opportunity to get in one way or the other. I placed an alert here on the SMA resistance levels, and they actually matched up on the 20-hour chart here, as well as it being really close to the 30-minute chart with the blue SMA here. It actually ended up being about the same level. And we have broken through some of the resistance levels, just kind of working on it on the 15-minute chart here. And we have broken through the high that we formed over here at 7:30, so that's interesting too. The MACD is really high right now on the 2000 tick chart, so this is maybe not the time to get into a long. We're waiting for a good opportunity still. Okay, when I started to see this, we're looking at the 15-minute chart. It has hit this resistance level, and now we've seen two red candles that are pretty definitively going down, and we see a little bit of movement coming here and a resistance level, which is a great trade for me, but it's not like a huge amount on the charts. So I decided to do a short at this point, and just to be on the safe side, I put a stop order in just one tick above the highest that it's been for the day, the highest that it just hit right there, just to make sure that it wouldn't lose me a lot of money right off the bat. That would be a pretty big loss. Let's see, it's 100, 200, and 220-ish dollars would be the loss if it hit that stop. So that's within my tolerance range. It's a pretty big one, but I'm pretty sure it's going to drop, and I'm pretty sure it'll be a good trade. So as it dropped, I lowered my stop, and I got my exit order in right here, which actually I think was right at the peaks that I saw right here. So I didn't wait for it to get all the way down. It's possible that it won't go all the way down. And that is a really good trade. As you can see, it's $237 in that one trade, which is one of the bigger trades that I tend to make. So I felt like that was a really good trade. So I got filled and got out, and then ended up making $250 on that first trade. So this is my second trade then, the order that I have put in here. Now this doesn't really show up on the screen, but what happened was it dropped down to that point. Let me go back one more screen. Okay, so it dropped down to that point. It hesitated. It really didn't drop below that. And then it had the rejection wick here, and it came back up again. So it was down here, and then it came back up to here. And then it formed a green candle. And the MACD is still really high. However, because it's got such an upward momentum, I'm not going to place as much weight on this MACD. I think that it has some more upward momentum yet to be had, and I'm also thinking that because we have broken through the resistance level here, and we kind of broke through it just a little bit right here, and it rejected it, but yet it's probably going to try it again, is my thought. So I did a long position at this point as soon as that green candle formed. And I put in an alert at the peak here just to kind of make sure that I didn't miss out when and if it does go above that. And I'm just kind of watching it at this point. No orders in one way or the other. Here I put in a linked order because I figured these might be kind of close together eventually, and I wanted to make sure that one didn't get filled when one filled, the other one got canceled. Okay, and the reason that I put it at this point right here at 1675, which is quite a bit lower than the peak up here, was because I was looking at the 15-minute chart here, and you can see the blue SMA right through here is at that level. And so it's probably going to retest that, and it's possible that it'll get up to that point and then it will hit that and find resistance. That's my thought. And even though it may be going up long term, I want to make sure that I don't risk the money that I have on the table already. And that's a really good trade for me. That's a really good trade. So that is like over $150. So that is a very reasonable trade, and I'm happy with that amount. And because I think that is going to bounce off that point and drop down, that's where I put the order. Now my stop order is way down here. And the reason I did that way down here, because that would be pretty much everything that I've made so far, that I'm putting on the line here. I'm pretty sure it's going up, first of all. And also, it's a few ticks below that orange SMA here. So it's possible. Sometimes you'll see it like drop down real quick. You know, the wick will develop and you'll get filled. It'll kick you out and then it'll go back up. And I really don't want that to happen. So, and the MACD, I'm watching it. It's a little bit concerning because I do see it kind of dropping here. But like I said, I'm not giving as much weight to this one at the moment just because of the upward momentum there. So that's where the stop is down here. All right, and as it went up, I raised my stop order to make sure that I could lock in some profits because that would be $100 right here. I'm very happy with that. And it actually filled my limit order. So I got the higher amount that I was after. And I believe I made 200 on that one. I can't remember. 150 maybe? I don't remember. It was a good trade. All right. So then it had, and actually it was really interesting because this is the candle that developed and got right up to that point, actually, that I was thinking it would. And so I was very happy that I made that trade. And sure enough, it did find resistance level and it had a huge candle that dropped down there. And then it kind of bounced. And so it's like, okay, this is what I was looking for. I think we're going to try to test that level again. So it dropped down, it formed 3 green candles. I kind of missed the bottom, but that's okay. There's still more momentum to be had here. I mean, you can see, I really think it's probably going to get up to this point right here pretty easily. And that's a huge trade for me. I don't even have to wait till it gets up to that point. So I got into a long position here and put a linked orders here. My stop is pretty tight. It's just 1 tick below that orange SMA, and I've got my limit order up there. And actually I raised my stop, I believe is what happened there, just because I wanted to be cautious because I really had made more than I needed to for the day and I really didn't want to risk too much. And so I got filled on that one, made I think $50, and it is only 9:07 this morning. So actually I've only traded for almost 20 minutes. And I'm done. And I don't really feel like trading anymore because I've got a lot to do. And I'm just happy that I could have predicted it as well as I did this morning. So, and made my quota and I'm done. So here's my trades. They were decreasingly, which is actually kind of a good thing because that means I was being more cautious as time went on because I didn't need to make as much money, I guess, is one way to look at it. And all 3 of them were positive. That was good. And anyway, came up with this interesting article I thought I would share with you all. Don't know, how much to think about it, but it's talking about the current economic conditions and how they are similar to the ones that we're seeing in the 50s and 60s, which was predominantly income-driven expansion. which is kind of a good way to increase your economy. It's safer than borrowing. And I also think, and this has definitely played into my thinking, because that 2008 crash is pretty fresh in my mind. We weren't directly influenced by that, but I had people that in my life that were, and that was a huge deal to them when that dropped. And so in my mind, it's like, oh, you need to be cautious because I remember this drop in 2008. So I definitely agree with what this article is saying. I think that has played into people's thinking, and also the article is saying that the current expansion is more sustainable, and the Fed's interest rate has less of an impact on the economy. So I think that's very interesting because there's a lot of doomsdayers out there that think, we're in a bubble and it's gonna crash and all. And honestly, I'm just not really seeing that. I mean, like they're saying the S&P has gained 15% this year. That's huge. Usually it's, around 10. So I don't know. I feel like our economy is actually pretty strong right now. I think the growth that we've had has been a little more sustainable. And I don't know how that will play out in the future. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting article worth sharing. So take it for what you will. Thanks for joining me.